Welcome back to The Upshot, the podcast about the funniest, wildest and most sordid stories in sport. And this week, a crime wave has hit Upshot Towers. First up, Quincy Promes breaks out of his gilded cage in Dubai. Jesse Marsh accuses Mexico of poisoning his best players. And the Arsenal striker turned drug smuggler. My name is Jack. I am joined as ever by Zach.
Hello, Jack.
Hello, and JP.
Hello, boys.
Hello, guys. You having a good international break?
Yeah. I mean, I'm never particularly enthused by the international break, but this one was particularly uninspiring, I think. Not just the football, but the fixtures, like Andorra and a friendly against Senegal, doesn't really get the pulse racing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like England are Tommy Tuchel's one slim win away from getting some serious grief from the England fans.
I mean, he's already he got booed off, didn't they, last night?
Yeah, he had a pretty pained expression on his face. But
Yeah.
he kind of likes that.
Yeah, the cycle starts again.
Yeah. It is quite Southgatey at the moment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Taking on the England job was really an exercise in masochism anyway. So
Anyway, it could be worse. He could have had his squad poisoned by the opposition. That is what's happened to Canada, allegedly. So Jesse Marsh, the old Leeds gaffer, he's Canada boss now, and 3 of his squad turned up for international duty against Ukraine with a nasty case of the squits. And Jesse doesn't think that this is a coincidence. He thinks that these fellas were sabotaged. So basically, all 3 of these players played for Vancouver Whitecaps in the CONCACAF Champions Cup final, where they were smashed 5-0 by the Mexican side. Cruz Azul. 5-0. He reckons that they were poisoned, and he doesn't think it was just too many pinto beans in their roadside fish tacos. He thinks foul play was afoot. So basically this has happened before. So last year, Columbus Crew, another fucking awful football team name, the American side, they went down to Mexico for the final of the Champions Cup against, I think it's Pachuca. Sorry, I don't remember the name. And they also had food poisoning.
is this just not just a case of some Americans or Canadians who can't handle a few jalapeno peppers in their burrito?
Can't handle a roadside fish taco.
Yeah.
Because Canada, the diet is just like oat milk, isn't it?
Oat milk and maple syrup.
Oh yeah, maple syrup. And just like just being really nice to each other.
In Canada, do they eat a lot of like moose and stuff like that?
Yeah, it's like quite hard meat.
Reindeer, which is delicious.
Is it?
A reindeer.
Yeah.
Really?
Did I tell you? I feel like I haven't stopped talking about reindeer.
What, did you have it in Malawi?
No.
Bit of an
Found a
unusual one.
reindeer in
It's like
Malawi.
a weird. It's the 2 places they live: Antarctica and Malawi. Weirdly.
Anyway, the Canadian players probably wishing they brought their reindeer sausages with them rather than eating the local food. So Jesse Marsh said this: "Look, I don't have any proof here that this occurred, but it is not random. It's not random that 2 years in a row this has happened. This is too much of a coincidence."
Lightning doesn't strike twice.
So
Jesse.
he basically says that it's normal that when you go to Mexico, you get a bit of a tough reception. So he said, in the past it was, will the fire alarm be pulled in the middle of the night? Will there be dancing and singing? And those are somewhat spirited competitive advantages that are created when you go down to Mexico. But poisoning the team is another version. Probably fair.
Is one of those things? Will there be dancing and singing? I don't think that's necessarily them trying to sabotage the team. It's just
them having a nice time.
They just have like a
mariachi band.
They just have quite a fun culture.
Yeah.
Stop trying to sabotage us.
As a man who knows a lot about poisoning, what's your?
Yeah, it does run in the family. I think it's a poisoned.
Yeah.
I think it was a poisoning.
2 years in a row.
But
Americans eat. I mean, North Americans eat a lot of like burritos and tacos, don't they? I don't think this is just like, I can't handle my jalapenos.
But so they were poisoned before the cup final, not.
Yeah,
so you're suggesting they were poisoned for the CONCACAF Cup, and then they weren't poisoned so that when they went away on international duty.
They're still poisoned, basically.
So they were playing
Ukraine.
So they'll be playing Mexico. Maybe it was some Ukrainian operatives.
Yeah. It's quite hard to like.
Ukrainian operatives probably have bigger issues that they're playing.
Yeah. It's quite hard to poison someone like enough to make them miss a football match, but not like nearly kill them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Didn't Spurs?
Well, just slightly undercooked chicken. Said this
Yeah.
before.
yeah.
It was the Spurs
got poisoned
It was
once.
the final day of the season in like mid-noughties some point.
Well, where them and Arsenal were.
I
vying
think so.
for
That
the
was it
Champions
because
League spot.
if they beat, was it like Villa or something they play on the last day of the season, and if they won, they'd get Champions League, and then half their squad got the shits basically.
There's a rugby one similar. The Rugby World Cup final where Mandela was really involved. 95, end of apartheid.
Yeah, I
South
remember
Africa
that.
won it. Beautiful moment. There's a film about it with Matt Damon. But the New Zealand players were supposedly poisoned. There was like a
By Mandela. He just swung by the hotel the day before.
People only see the good side of Mandela, but you know.
The long walk to the bathroom.
Well, anyway, yeah, they supposedly the night or like the week before the game, there was this waitress who'd never been seen in the hotel before, served them all, and then like 8 of them got ill and were really sluggish for the final, and no one ever saw the waitress again. She has a name like Susie or something.
She walked away into the sunset.
Yeah.
Mm.
And so there's always been this this theory that they were poisoned. So it happens.
Yeah,
It does.
previous.
I'm going with poisoning.
It does, Mr. Corned Beef.
Yeah. Have you been following this woman in New Zealand or Australia who is accused of poisoning her in-laws?
the beef Wellington.
Yeah, she made a poison
saw
beef
that.
Wellington.
Follow it closely.
I think we've talked about it before, but she I didn't realise she also poisoned the like local village vicar, the pastor. He was just there, so he got it. He survived.
So I was having a little look, just because obviously Jesse Marsh is an American in Canada, just to see whether there was any animosity from local Canadians towards him, and it was actually quite heartwarming looking at their Instagram, just how much they've taken him in as one of their own. So. One of them was, "Thank you for standing up for our country. You're also Canadian as far as we're concerned.
Oh God,
Jesse, your passion for our national team is amazing. I am so excited to see where you lead us in the near and distant future."
So is this what messages sent in to the Canadian FA?
from
Yeah.
fans. Can you imagine England fans
Just not
tweeting
fucking
that about
happening,
Thomas
is it?
Tuchel?
I mean, it was literally like, "Southgate, you fucking cunt."
Hung, drawn and quartered because they'd won a match. Do you know
Also,
what
I
mean?
thought Canadian-US relations were at an all-time low.
Yeah,
Yeah, but maybe
Well, they-
Jesse's like the bridge.
Jesse's the
Yeah.
Bond.
Oh my God, one of them just says, "Thank you for being you." I cannot imagine an English football fan.
No.
Even if England won the fucking World Cup, people would still be like, "You sat back after the second goal, you fucking cunt."
German cunt.
You German fucking cunt.
I just question whether these quotes are real, but maybe
They probably are as Canada.
Christ.
Yeah.
All right, I've got a story now about a very dear friend of the pod. I'm pleased to report there has been a major update in the Quincy Promes saga. So Quincy Promes, he's been convicted of 2 crimes: drug smuggling, stabbing his cousin. He was convicted, sentenced in the Netherlands to 7.5 years in prison, but he went on the run in Russia and now Dubai, where he's been holed up for the last year. And he's been on the run for so long. I've always wondered, like, what is the end game? And I sort of assumed that he planned to see out his years in his gilded cage in the Gulf, sipping Whispering Angel rosé with turkey-toothed recruiters and telling everyone how much he doesn't miss Amsterdam at all and Dubai is actually much safer. All that chat
Classic
you have to
stuff,
endure
yeah.
from the Dubai lot. But it turns out actually that Quincy has a very different plan in mind. He is hoping that everyone in the Netherlands will just decide to forgive and forget. So this week he filed a shock request to return on one condition. He said to the Netherlands judiciary, "I will come back to my country provided you don't arrest me."
It's fucking outrageous.
It's not really how it works, Quincy. They've been trying to extradite him for like a year.
Can we cut a deal here, guys? Come on.
So
Yeah.
basically, he's filed an official request with the court. I don't think it's even a thing. Like, what request? And then he's also given an interview to Dutch TV, which was aired on Monday night, where he said, "I want to clear the air and give my side of the story." Which I think he had an opportunity to do that during the 2 trials.
Did he not? He didn't show up to his own trial. Did
No, he
he
didn't show up. He had a chance.
Now you want to tell your story.
Clear the air. No, you've got to serve 7.5 years in prison. He said, "I'm not going to lie, I miss the Netherlands very much and would like to come back. People have often also said that I'm on the run, but I've been trying to get in touch with the Justice Department for some time to solve it." I just thought, he's like, there's been a misunderstanding here. Definitely been trying to get in touch loads. He obviously didn't attend those 2 court cases because he was in Russia, and he was asked on the programme, why didn't you just come? You had your opportunity. Why didn't you come back and defend yourself then? And he said, I had contractual obligations to Spartak Moscow. I can't bite the hand that feeds me during that time. That's not who I am.
Had to play for the bent club that you're.
Yeah, I'm a man of honour.
Yeah,
you know.
So bite the arm that feeds me. He did. One of the things he's been convicted for is stabbing someone at a family barbecue. You bite the hand that feeds
Feeds
you.
me sausages.
His moral compass is slightly off, isn't it?
Yeah, his priorities were a
Quincy's.
little bit odd.
So
So he just wants to come back, not to be arrested, and I guess just
all
chill.
I'm asking is to come back and face no repercussions for the cocaine smuggling ring that I.
So they asked him exactly
operated.
what they said to him. What would you actually like to see happen? And he said, "I want to answer for myself in the Netherlands and continue my career, and I want that I fly back and forth to the Netherlands a few times when I'm called up, and then I can just continue playing football. That is what I want."
I just can't believe he
That's-
thinks he's going to get called up. He's playing for a tier Dubai league, you know?
Yeah, banging him in.
Yeah,
Just
that
love
is
it.
absolutely brazen.
Yeah.
So he's just like, look, all I'm asking for is that I face no consequences for my
All I
actions.
want is to do whatever I want, whenever I want. What is so hard for you guys to understand about that? Why is everyone being so difficult?
Mental.
Yeah, I guess he's got away with it for so long. He's so used to just being such a like jammy fucker
Yeah.
that he just sort of thinks maybe they'll do this for me.
Yeah, I mean, don't ask, don't get, right?
Yeah. Did he go directly from Spartak Moscow to Dubai?
Well, if you remember, he was on a pre-season tour with Spartak Moscow in Dubai.
And then it
he
came
did
out.
a hit and run. So Spartak ripped up his contract and he was arrested in Dubai and then released.
I think he's also not allowed to leave Dubai as
Yeah,
well
I think he's
now.
still on bail there. I
Yeah.
don't know what the deal is, but he can't leave there.
Holy fuck.
Yeah.
He's in a deep hole, isn't he, old Quincy?
So I just
Yeah.
want to come back to the Netherlands and pretend this whole thing never happened.
Wow.
Re-record my rap album with Memphis Dubai. I love the bit when he's like, I'll just fly back to the Netherlands a few times a year, play football.
Yeah.
Yeah, shout out to Dan Visser, our man in Amsterdam, for sending that in. He also pointed out that mes means knife in Dutch. So Quincy Promes' surname just means pro-knife.
Pro knife.
Yeah, in Dutch. Nice touch. Do you think he'll get away with this?
I mean, there's absolutely no way he's getting away with it, surely. He's
I
been
don't. I think the
sentenced.
court will probably. I mean, like, it's not a thing to just
Yeah.
request to a court to.
Yeah, can you imagine them in the office at the Dutch justice system? It's like, we've had an email from Quincy Promes. So what's he up to? Is he coming back? Yeah, he just wants to come back and not be arrested or face any consequences for his crime.
So he's got 7.5
Yeah.
years. If he steps foot back in the Netherlands,
Yeah.
he's going to have to do it.
Yeah, surely you get extra for going on the run.
Yeah.
There's something to be said for someone who's just like refuses to see it any other way, and it's just like, why are you guys being so weird about this?
Pretty sadistic.
But I reckon, I sort of think maybe you get away with it if you keep. It's just like never apologise and give in.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think he's coming back anytime
Yeah.
soon.
Fucking mental.
You need
I
to at
guess
least like feign an illness or something.
Dutch people are famously direct, right? So he is just he's cutting
Just telling
the
it how it
bullshit.
is.
He's just saying like,
Yeah,
this
they're
is
quite
this is what I
pragmatic
want.
though, aren't they?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Maybe there's a deal to be done here.
Yeah,
It's actually just a shame because he's so fucking good at football.
Yeah, he's
Yeah,
absolutely
absolute
banging them
class.
in for Dubai United. in
Yeah.
the
Banged him in Spartak Moscow.
second tier of the UAE football.
Yeah.
Anyway, we'll keep listeners abreast of the court's verdict, but good to see Quincy emerge. Also like that he's had like a year to think of it, and this is his plan. Staying in the Dutch football crime wave, I've got another one. And you know, like we've done a lot of stories about Dutch footballers caught in these terrifying criminal plots. So I'm actually kind of relieved to say that on this occasion, the footballer is not the one holding the pistol, because Brian Brobby, the Ajax striker, he's been the victim of a very nasty scheme. So
that's good to hear.
yeah, it's a relief to tell you this poor bloke's had his life ruined. But it's just nice to know he's not the assailant on this occasion. So basically, Brobby was at a music festival in Amsterdam a couple of years ago when a shady bloke sidled up to him. And, you know, I guess you'd probably assume he's...
Going to give you a bit bumper ket or something.
pingers, ketamine.
Grade A cocaine.
Unfortunately, the bloke had something a little bit more ominous to tell Brian. So this bloke said to him, "You don't know me, but I solved a problem for you." And Robbie's like, what? And he's like, yeah, there's these Moroccan gangsters in Utrecht who have been trying to hurt you, but I stopped them. And
He's just, oh, great, thanks a lot.
nice to meet you. What's your name again? And now you owe me compensation. So it's a protection racket, apparently very common in the Netherlands. And this guy was called Piccolo, is his gangster nickname. And
Pikachu.
yeah, it's kind of cute.
It's not very threatening.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm Piccolo.
Yeah, hey, Piccolo. I'm
Solve the real problem for you.
Yeah.
Thank you, Piccolo.
Unfortunately, my imaginary friend. Yeah, sounds like he's a sort of like turquoise dinosaur or something.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, he did actually make good on his unspoken threats. So basically, Brobby was like, I'm not giving you any money. Piccolo wanted 150 grand. And after that, a series of planned attacks followed. So an explosive was set off near Brian's car. His sister-in-law's car was set on fire. Someone pushed fireworks through his mother-in-law's letterbox. So it wasn't all bad.
Imagine Brian Robbie's, oh, did they shit on your doorstep as well?
Sorry about that.
That is, God. Is there no end to this?
Awful. You stepped in it, didn't you?
Yeah.
I quite like the idea that, in fact, there is no Piccolo and this whole thing's been invented by Brian Robbie just so he can get at his stupid mother-in-law. Oh, you're joking. What have they done now? Then Brian was like so scared by this that his childhood friend, who was like a bit of a tough guy, was like, right, I'll go and speak to this Piccolo guy. Met up with him and they shot him. Piccolo shot him. He like got in the guy's car. They had a talk. Didn't work out. As he was leaving, he got shot and just made it to a police station. He survived. He was wounded. Pretty fast. So they're serious.
It's a pretty traumatic story, isn't it? Fucking hell.
I think I'd pay up at that point.
Yeah.
I think I would have paid up at the music festival. Be like, can you still do the mother-in-law?
Yeah.
Tell you what, I'll
Got
pay
a couple
you,
of bits.
but let's just let this one run for a little bit.
Call it 200 if you can add these bits on.
You can get that fucking hag. So yeah, anyway, fortunately for Brian, who never paid up even after they shot his friend, there was a happy ending because Piccolo was done for drug dealing. He was shipping big quantities of MDMA. I mean, Amsterdam's sort of the capital of MDMA.
Yeah.
So I'm looking at you, JP. And he was then also caught on all this torment. So Piccolo's been given 10 years in the slammer for attempted murder, firearms offences and drug trafficking.
But did he not get sentenced for this?
Yeah, I think the attempted murder is shooting a friend.
Got it.
Do you think that's another reason why Quincy is so keen to avoid jail in the Netherlands?
Yeah.
Some
Bad dudes in
He
there.
doesn't want to meet Piccolo.
Yeah.
Typically there are. Although at least then Piccolo could deal with his mother-in-law.
True.
Anyway, Brian may have been freed from that ordeal. Now Piccolo's inside, but actually he's facing an even worse fate because he has been linked this summer with a move to West Ham.
Oh no.
Oh dear.
The striker's graveyard of West Ham. I hope for
Linking
him
up
that
with
does not
Potter.
happen.
Yeah.
All right, I got one more crime story. A lot of crime today. You guys will no doubt remember Arsenal striker Emanuel Thomas from his 9-minute cameo against Chelsea in 2010. It was actually his only league appearance for the Gunners. But he looked like he was going to be quite a big star. So he was captain of Arsenal's youth team and they won
He
the
was
FA
quality, I
Youth
remember
Cup.
him.
He was like a genuine star. And Arsene Wenger described him as potentially great. And he praised him for his hocus pocus skills. So apparently he was like big on tricks.
Yeah. He was really good at nutmegs and stuff, wasn't
Yeah.
he? Yeah. Like,
So,
but also just a really big player, which is very unusual to see him that skillful.
like good touch for a big man.
Yeah.
But tricks, showboating.
Yeah.
Sadly, it never really worked out for him at Arsenal, possibly because despite all his tricks, he was never really one for tracking back and doing the hard graft. But he did transfer those traits to the field of business. So after a career in sort of Championship, League One level, Jay has now been convicted of drug smuggling after masterminding a plot to sneak 60 kilos of cannabis from Thailand to Stansted. So basically, he got his girlfriend and her mate to stash vacuum sealed bags of weed in 4 suitcases. They picked it up in Thailand and then shipped it over to Stansted. So he was the ideas man.
Yeah. He's orchestrating this from from the UK.
He's doing
right?
the showboating, the tricks, the clever stuff, but he's not doing the hard graft.
Yeah.
It's not tracking back. So apparently
That's going to get you some excess baggage fees at Stansted.
Yeah.
isn't it?
Yeah.
I gotta say, Stansted,
What's in the bag? You got any sharps? Any,
Any bags?
Ryanair doing you for that much. Yeah. Also, Stansted is hell at the best of times. So like weaving through stag doos and crying babies, let alone with like 4 suitcases stuffed with weed. You'd be stressed.
Also,
get there
that
3
like,
hours early.
weed must be one of the most stressful things to smuggle, I imagine, because of the
It's
smell
massive
as
and it
well. You've got
smells.
60 kilos of it.
Can't you just grow it here?
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
worth it.
Yeah, also from Thailand. I swear in Thailand you'll get
Death penalty.
executed for...
But I guess not
Where you
Jay's
get
problem.
the best bud, though, isn't it?
Jay's happy. Best outdoor.
Yeah.
I guess Jay's just, if you know, yeah.
If you know your weed.
But Jay doesn't really care because he's chilling. He was actually playing for Scottish side Greenock Morton at the time, so he's
Whilst orchestrating this big deal by getting his girlfriend nicked, basically.
So the girls were paid $2,500 plus an all expenses holiday in Thailand each.
prior to the bringing it back.
Yeah, and then
so
the
I
end of
don't
it-
think you're really going to enjoy that holiday.
$2.5
that
grand
much.
doesn't feel like very much for
Yeah.
that amount.
Well, they were told it was gold, not weed.
right.
So, which is a pretty shitty move from Jay, I
Yeah.
got to say.
Surely
the
you
girls
notice.
Yeah, I'd be like, this gold's quite light and smelly.
Gold smells.
I guess they just
pungent.
thought it was less gold. You just given the suitcases.
Yeah.
But so they thought it was gold, and actually the 2 girls ended up getting off.
What, with each other?
How did that help?
Just really nervous.
The best bit of the story.
Just
then
about
they got off.
Just about to get nicked.
He's
You're like,
like, yeah.
fuck it.
I've got to distract these guards somehow.
Don't know how that's going to help our case, but yeah, get on. No, so basically they were like, we obviously didn't. I mean, I guess smuggling gold's still some sort of crime. But,
Yeah.
the charges were dropped against them. Jay didn't get so lucky, so he got done on mobile phone evidence because apparently they got pulled aside at Stansted, stopped and searched, and at that point they were panicking, and one of them texted Jay being like, they're searching us, and he replied, delete everything from our chat if you can.
Wow.
Which was then used as evidence against him. I guess they didn't delete it in time. But yeah, he got 4 years in the slammer.
Has he just been sentenced?
Yeah, it's quite funny. The judge was like, I hope this case will show that crime doesn't pay. But like, if you're the girls,
Yeah. You've just got
$2.5
off.
grand, all expenses holiday in Thailand, and then go off scot-free.
I wonder if they kept the 2.5 bags.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it kind of sounds like crime does pay.
Wow.
Yeah.
I don't think you can talk about that level of cocaine smuggling without talking about the Peru too. Do you know about those
Oh,
guys?
the 2
Love
girls.
the Peru too.
Yeah.
That'd be quite a good Patreon.
Yeah, you should do a deep dive. It's
So
my-
for the uninitiated,
Yeah, so like, it's one of my favourite Ibiza stories just because I just finished doing a mini season when they got nicked. But essentially, both of them went out on a bender separately, and both of them met a group of lovely Peruvian lads who basically gave them acid and said, if you go over to Barcelona and pick up a package, we will pay you like 10 grand each. So they're like tripping on acid and going, yeah, well, Barcelona's only a ferry ride. Can easily get about, won't be too much of an issue. They got to the airport and got given tickets to Mallorca. So they're tripping on acid, one of them, and essentially they came back and ended up flying to Mallorca, then get told they were flying to Lima. Both of them wake up from the trip in Lima and are then told that they need to come back with like 12.5 kilos of cocaine.
and isn't it in Lima where it starts to get a bit threatening as well?
Yeah. So they're like completely out of the, they don't really know where they are, and they just take the hit at at Lima airport, and then essentially
And did they? So they thought they were just going to Barcelona and they were on acid.
they claim
And
that
got
they
off-
know.
Do you think they got off the plane in Lima and it's like, God, Barcelona looks different. It's just some strong stuff.
Oh, I think I remember one of them
Why
saying
is
when
everyone wearing
they sat down on the
ponchos?
plane and it has that thing on the screen showing like travel time and it was like 14 hours. They were
No,
like,
are we going to
is that where Barcelona is?
Barcelona? But yeah,
mental.
essentially they got done at the airport. I think one of them got done for a longer period of time
Yeah.
than the other.
There's those famous pictures of them
Yeah,
being
God.
like, paraded.
Because didn't one of them had like a really, she's come out the other side and really She's like a nurse or something.
Yeah, one
And
of them's
one
like
of
quite
them-
wholesome.
The other one's
Yeah.
like an influencer, isn't she?
Yeah.
She's like an Insta hottie.
I think the one on the left is the,
Can we see them
the
now?
influencer. Yeah, one on the left is the influencer. One on the right is.
Is that just if I had to pick? If I had to choose nurse and influencer. Influencer or nurse?
That's
no, that's the nurse.
That's just the two categories of women to use. Influencers and nurses.
That's the nurse.
And that's the,
Yeah.
Yeah.
But there is a very good 3-part Netflix documentary.
yeah. We should do a Patreon on that.
You should.
That'd be a goodie.
I think it's called.
Peru too. It's
I
great.
think it's
name.
called like How High or.
Confessions of an Ibiza Drug Mule.
There
Yeah.
you go.
Yeah, we should do that. That'd be great.
Yeah. So JP, I know you're a big music fan. Are you a fan of the 70s band 10cc?
I don't know cricket. That one.
Yeah.
That's the one.
Not in love.
Not in love. Yeah, you know, I think for most of their pomp, which was mid 70s, really, they were this pretty inoffensive soft rock band. The sort of band that you'd see at entertaining dads at a real ale festival. But that was until their Stockport-born singer and bassist Graham Goldman got his first taste of jerk chicken at Brixton Market, and you know he was enamoured instantly and decided to jump on the first flight to Jamaica, where he composed their chart-topping hit "Dreadlock Holiday,"
There's a tune.
which we can listen to a little bit of now. It's a banger.
Why's he walking like that?
I was walking down the street, concentrating on trucking right. I heard a dark voice beside of me, and I looked round in a state of fright. I saw 4 faces, one mad, a brother from the gutter. They looked me up and down a bit and turned to each other. I say I don't like cricket.
I know. I love it. Should we explain what's happening in the video? though? 'Cause I never
'cause
understood that.
No, I feel like there's quite a lot to unpack.
Yeah.
I would actually say if you haven't seen the video, do watch it. So basically, it starts with Graham, the singer, walking along in this cream suit with a Hawaiian shirt on, and he gets mugged by these 4 Caribbean guys. Which
They're like surrounding
they
him. I think
they surround him and mug him basically.
So
later in the song there's a bit he's talking about his I think it's like his some kind of jewelry
Silver
necklace,
chain.
silver chain or something. Yeah.
Yeah. But is the idea that he says I don't like cricket to win them over to be like
Yeah, I guess I
think
know,
that's
quite
sort of-
confusing,
it sort of
isn't
breaks
it?
it sort of breaks from the storyline of the video.
I think the idea is that he said because then he says I don't like reggae, I don't like Jamaica, I love it.
Yeah.
I think the idea is to be like no, I'm
I'm one of you.
I'm
one
one of you.
guys.
Don't steal my chick.
yeah. So he kind of faced some like criticisms in later years that it perpetuates stereotypes about the Caribbean. And his response, he said, well, the idea was to take the mickey out of a white person trying to emulate West Indian cool,
Oh, classic.
which, you know, I don't know. You could. there's. I really enjoyed the chorus when their Jamaican accents become more pronounced.
Yeah.
It's just these 4 white guys with mullets, and yeah. Anyway, he's faced a bit of criticism about it. I mean, he said every West Indian person I've spoken to loves Dreadlock Holiday, but I wouldn't write certain lines now.
Yeah,
I could probably agree with that, mate. Yeah.
Yeah.
And actually, you could probably say the same about the band's name. So apparently, they came up with the name for the band because the average male ejaculation is 9 cc cubic centimeters.
Of
So
cum.
they're being 10 cc. They are bigger than the average man.
What to be like? I've got loads of cum.
Cum,
Yeah.
Is that a brag? Having more cum? Bigger loads?
Their
Probably is in like the
their
porn
producer actually denies it. He says that the name of the band came to him in a dream.
A wet dream.
world. A wet dream.
Yeah. So I don't know. There's various stories about whether or not that's true. But obviously the song also includes the famous line, "I don't like cricket, I love it," which has become a real anthem for cricket fans. I think they always play it before matches.
In the UK or globally, just everywhere.
I mean, everywhere it gets used a lot.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, it fits. But Graham revealed in an interview recently that 47 years after the song was released, he had never been to a cricket match.
Bit like you.
A bit like me.
So he's not a cricket fan.
No. So
why-
you sort of appropriating the culture in a way.
For me, that's the worst bit.
Yes, he'd never been until he decided last week that it was time to right that wrong and went down to the Oval to watch England against the West Indies.
Fittingly.
At the Oval, yeah. Not sure which team he was supporting.
Constantly accusing West Indies fans of trying to rob him when they're saying hello.
Just sat there in his Bob
Hawaiian
Marley
shirt.
But yeah, he did it. And
So why is the song "I Don't Like Cricket"? It's just a
So it was apparently it was something that a Jamaican guy said to him when he was in Jamaica. So he was like talking to this guy and was like, "So do you like cricket?" And the guy responded, "No, I love it."
and then tried to mug him, or is that bit made up?
I think that bit.
Yeah, I don't know.
I think everything apart from the chorus is completely made up, isn't it? Yeah.
All I would say is, like, in Jamaica, you can get yourself into some hairy situations. I was forced to dagger a woman. Famously.
Forced.
Yeah. I've told the daggering story before. I'm not going to get into it now, but I was forced.
Yeah.
I also
You're going to compose a song about it?
Yeah.
That could be
I don't
quite
like daggering. I love it.
Yeah.
Oh, so it's all bollocks. Everything's bollocks.
Yeah, I mean, he was interviewed after this match that he went to, and he said, "After today's experience, I can say I don't like cricket. I absolutely love it."
Oh, for fuck's sake.
I feel like he's botched the line there. Don't say absolutely. Nice though.
It is nice.
Yeah.
We're actually going to watch.
We
cricket
are
today.
right after this recording. We're going off to see South Africa, Australia.
Yeah, it's also my first cricket match.
Yeah.
Never been to a cricket
It
match
is.
before.
And you've got some pretty questionable opinions about Australian and South African people as well.
Yeah.
Well,
Your first cricket match. You
First
excited?
cricket match. I am actually. Yeah, I'm very excited.
let us know whether you like it or love it
I'm
afterwards.
sure I'm gonna love it.
Yeah.
But I'll let you know.
Mm.
I mean, I don't know much about cricket, but this is the World Test Match final.
It's a biggie, yeah.
Which
And I'm going to need... So basically, we are doing an episode, recording it tomorrow. It won't come out for a couple of weeks, with the guys from The Grade Cricketer, which, if you're into cricket podcasts, they're the best ones. Aussie guys, very fucking funny. They're great. So I'm going to need you to brush up quite hard this afternoon.
So I listened to one of their episodes this morning, and what I can say is that Australia are nearing an era of transition in their team. But
You just keep saying that.
they're obviously they're big favourites. They've got some good spin bowlers.
Love that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, actually,
Brushing up.
the episode we're talking about is Mark Bosnich. So,
Yeah.
Naturally.
Oh, I thought we were just talking about today for
Oh, yeah. I
bullshitting
want you to,
Norway.
if we see them.
Yeah.
And then also, so,
I'm going to ask them which one's fourth base.
yeah, that'll really ingratiate them. And then, Finn Taylor and Horatio and their crew from the Finn versus History pod are going. And I mentioned to them that we were thinking of going, and they were like, "Oh, we're actually going, and these are our seats." So I've bought the seats like really near them.
Nice.
So I'm a bit worried they think we're stalking them.
Yeah. You kind of
Should be
are.
fun.
Are we?
You kind of are.
We're kind of going as podcast fanboys today. So just don't embarrass me.
Big
Sam.
podcast a day out. Who's going to win?
Oh,
I want South
obviously
Africa.
Australia. Obviously Australia, because
But I think
I
Australia.
think they've got more strength in depth, really. in
Yeah,
this
they're favourites.
team,
This
yeah.
guy.
yeah,
Wow.
Yeah.
Teddy, our producer, is a big cricket and great cricketer fan, so he is jizzing his pants. He's got about 10cc worth of jizz in his pants. He's an 11cc'er. Maybe I'll start using that. It's like how you refer to
10cc.
someone as being really fit. You're like, "Oh, she's a fucking 20cc. So
That's
tomorrow morning is a fucking 40cc for Teddy.
Yeah. Love that. Good energy.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was a bit behind the curtain on the pod, wasn't it?
Yeah. Actually, while we're talking about musicians, obviously it's that time of the year when a lot of big artists are taking over football stadiums to do their tours. I saw the Swiss side Grasshoppers, who are one of the big teams there. They had a bad season and they were in the relegation playoffs. But they had to move their playoff 3 hours away because Imagine Dragons were using their stadium for
If
that.
Imagine Dragons
Yeah.
come calling,
Exactly.
got to
Imagine
fuck
if you
off.
got. Hang on, they didn't get relegated, did they?
No,
They won.
they sadly they won that. The one that got moved 4-0, which
It would have been very funny if they'd been relegated because
And
they
then
had
they'd
to
got
because of
moved.
Imagine Dragons.
yeah. Actually, that would have been like whoever their rivals are, Grasshoppers. Every time they played
Young
there, they'd
boys,
just be
probably.
blasting out Imagine Dragons.
Yeah,
That would be great. Beyonce as well. She's doing, I think it's 8 dates at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium.
There are tickets knocking around, guys.
There are. Apparently, she's struggled to
She's
sell
struggled
out.
to
Really?
sell out
Yeah,
8
so it's
dates.
quite
It's
yeah.
old news, isn't it?
4 dates was fine. 8 dates has
8
been
dates
a
was
push.
ambitious, really.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm gonna try and go.
Yeah, are you?
Yeah,
You a big
I mean
fan?
she's a
In the
legend.
Beehive.
She's a legend.
I find her so bland.
Really,
Just in every respect.
Mm.
really,
Mm.
fucking hell.
If you look, George, our producer, was
Is he a big
selling-
fan?
He's
Selling.
selling tickets.
Oh, is he? He's long.
What?
He's long
He's
Beyonce.
touting.
He had the new album. Yeah, but get in touch.
I'll get in touch.
Apparently, I was reading the only thing on her rider apparently is Snapple.
What's
The
Snapple?
juice. It's like American
You know
juice.
Snapple with
juice
the
brand.
pop cap.
No.
Yeah.
It's like a fruity.
Yeah.
It's quite old school.
Right.
That and a clean cafetiere.
Told you she's fucking bland.
Yeah. I don't know. I think it's quite nice. Actually, Beyonce. Talking of Beyonce, reminded me. So she played at the Stadium of Light a few years ago.
He used to do a
Sunderland's
few
ground.
gigs there. I remember.
Yeah, which already to me doesn't seem like a Beyonce type venue, but you know.
Can't imagine being fucking Newcastle, can you? Sunderland.
Yeah,
It's a bit of a weird one.
yeah.
I can.
But it produced the excellent stats. So it was during Sunderland's sort of dark years when she played there, and then last year when they played Newcastle in the FA Cup. It was the first time they'd sold out the Stadium of Light since the Beyonce gigs. Which is quite
That is good. That is good. Someone DM'd us about doing Stadium of Light, but I think there's
Playing
a
at the
bar. Yeah, doing a live show.
Imagine.
But I don't think they were thinking on
Are
the
we
pitch.
warming up for
Beyonce's-
Beyonce?
Yeah,
There's a bar, they're like the event space within the stadium.
yeah there's a
of Light,
bar.
yeah.
Yeah.
Are we doing it?
We were in talks.
Okay. I mean, I take back what I said about
Yeah, exactly. You lot.
Stadium of Light. I think it's actually wonderful.
Yeah, wonderful place.
It is a
it's a
decent
wonderful
stadium.
place. Yeah. Bruce Springsteen played at Anfield as well. Did you see
Yeah.
that? I saw a great video of a dad pretending to score in front of the cop.
This was unbelievable. Such
Watch
a dad
it.
move.
Miller, lovely cushioned header. But Gerrard!
He's just running around on the like
I'd
metal sheeting. that
I'd
they put
seen it,
down
but I
over
hadn't
the
seen the
pitch.
commentary. I didn't
Yeah.
see the commentary to that.
I'm not going to lie, it was like quite, he looks like he's quite good on his feet for an older fella.
Mm.
Do you not think? He was moving around
Yeah,
quite
I thought it
nicely.
was, yeah.
I did see that Robbie played the Emirates Stadium the other day, Emirates Stadium the other day, and he quite weirdly brought out Wiley and Lethal Bizzle.
Yeah,
Mm.
Which was just so random.
quite fun.
Also, Wiley's pretty much been cancelled now, so it's quite a weird one
Mm.
to...
He's no friend of the Jews, Wiley, is he?
No, but just a very weird special guest to bring out.
Pow!
Yeah.
Lethal
Hope-
for the beat.
Hopefully he
Pow.
doesn't bring him out at Glastonbury if Robbie does Glasto.
Don't think he's doing Glasgow.
Yeah, Robbie. There was also something else from that gig. Apparently, Robbie he said something like how it was because he's at the Emirates and he was like, "How far are Arsenal from a European trophy?" And I said, "About 4 fucking miles."
Oh, I find that sort of gag
Yeah, it's
so
a bit-
lame.
it's a bit lame.
So lame.
Um,
I like Robbie.
Yeah, I don't know, but all that kind of stuff is all quite good natured, which is more than you can say about the time the Arctic Monkeys played at the Emirates a couple of years ago. So I should say that this story came from a very reliable source, somebody at the Emirates, can't name them. But in 2023, the Arctic Monkeys, Alex Turner and co, did 3 nights there. And after the final gig, they decided to unwind in the green room, along with their support act, the Hives.
They're nuts, those guys, apparently.
Yeah, well, maybe that explains it because it turned into an almighty sesh. The 2 bands apparently got thuggishly drunk and ended up pissing all over the furniture in the green room at the Emirates.
Love it.
so
Do we know it could have been one of their entourage who pissed? To be fair,
Yeah, we don't have actual footage from inside
No.
the room. But
Someone pissed all over
someone
yeah.
at the party. You know, the Emirates staff came in to clear up
Oof.
after the final night, and sofas were a write-off. soaked in
Yeah,
piss.
hadn't stripped the beds.
Yeah.
Feels very Oasis in the 90s, that, not Arctic
But
Monkeys.
did Oasis do shit like piss everywhere?
Yeah, I
That's
mean, they were
it's just
notorious.
it's just
for that sort of
inconsiderate.
that's an
trash.
absolute cunt move.
Yeah.
But to be fair, Alex Turner is a cunt.
Yeah,
like
true.
like his music,
Yeah.
but he's just a bit of a twat.
Yeah, but
Although I
apparently-
don't know that he
so
was
this was-
involved in the pissing, to be fair.
Yeah, but this was just before they played at Glastonbury that year, and apparently Arsenal were fuming about it as they as they rightly should be, but the whole thing got hushed up by the managers, and they paid off the damages, I guess.
It's good.
Until
rock and
now,
roll.
until now,
Mm.
it was hushed up. But, yeah, so that's a real scoop for you.
Yeah, it's a bit of
Inside
rock and
story.
roll, isn't it? I mean, I
Yeah.
slag off Beyonce for the Snapple thing, and then
Yeah.
them for allowing the piss. You can't have it both ways. Choose your fighter.
So you don't like Alex Turner or Beyonce?
No, I mean, I used to really like Alex Turner's music, but he just thinks he's so fucking great.
Yeah, they've
doesn't
gone a
he?
bit too
They've
off-piste,
gone
haven't
so
they?
lame.
Yeah.
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 When he did that speech at the Brits, when he's like, the crazy world of rock and roll, that was the moment he lost me.
Comes up from the soup.
Yeah, that was the moment he lost me, when he started
Yeah.
thinking he was like, so fucking
Jamie Carragher's a big fan, though, isn't he?
Yeah.
Which
Yep.
take from that what you will.
I like Jamie Carragher.
Now, moving on. So the Western Australian city of Perth, it's not famed for its gay scene. So when the admin of the local gay social club Bears Perth was inundated with new members, he was delighted. You know, it was obviously pretty unusual for the group to see such a surge in sign-ups. But, you know, the newbies certainly looked big and hairy. Although they did keep asking about backline drills, which was slang not even the longest standing members were familiar with. And it turned out that this new influx of members were, in fact, sports fans who were hoping to join the newly announced National Rugby League side, Perth Bears.
So they thought they'd had a load of traction finally, and actually,
Yeah.
Exactly, yeah.
Maybe there's some overlap though anyway.
yeah.
I mean, I'm sure that Bears Perth would have loved
Yeah,
the Perth
Bears would have been-
fans.
Yeah, I mean,
Good for
big,
that.
big and hairy. There's
Big
going
and
to be big and
hairy,
hairy in both.
yeah.
Do you have to be a bear to join Bears Perth? The social club? Or is it just if you
you know
fancy
what,
bears,
I-
can you
Could
go?
be twinks, twinks,
Could JP
bears.
go?
JP could definitely
JP's
go.
a twunk, we decided.
Fly me out and I'll
JP
go.
would be eaten alive. At
There's
the
actually no bears
Perth
in this
social
room
club.
right now.
No.
No.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you're getting there.
You're twink, twunk, and I don't know what you are.
Apparently, I'm getting there. An otter. Otter is a skinnier bear. My otter.
Okay, yeah, maybe you are.
Stoat.
Otter,
A
twunk,
weasel. You're a
twink.
A
weasel.
weasel. I think otter. I'm not even that hairy.
You
Am I
are
not a
quite
twink
hairy.
anymore?
No.
Was I ever? I think as soon as you get a beard,
Yeah.
Mm.
Zach's quite twinky.
If you vetoed your
I'm gonna
body,
take- yeah.
if you vetoed everything,
If I
you'd be
manscaped
twink.
it,
Yeah,
yeah.
Manscaped, please.
Sorry, sorry.
Use code UPSHOT.
10.
Anyway, after a little while, Bears Perth, the gay social club, were forced to put out a statement where they clarified that they were, in fact, not associated with the rugby team. And anyone that was looking to toss the pill around should not pay for membership. Although actually the president of the group, Kingsley Dawes, did make it clear that all of these new members would be welcome. So he said, don't get me wrong, I would love it if a whole bunch of burly rugby fans showed up to one of our events.
Absolutely.
Yeah, exactly. We're about the bears.
Yeah,
Very
yeah.
gutted.
It's the crossover we never knew we needed.
Yeah. All right, I think that's all we got time for. If you still haven't had enough, then we've got an extra special Patreon episode coming up right now about Michael Carroll, the lotto lout. So he is the guy, he was working as a dustman. He won 10 million quid on the lottery
And spunked it.
and he spunked it in 8 years on cocaine, fast cars, and 4-day Roman orgies.
My hero.
And the rest he just squandered. It's a seriously good tale.
It's a really good time.
I knew of him, and like he's a bit of a tabloid villain, but we kind of grew to love him by the end of the episode.
I
We've
think
recorded it
he's-
already,
Yeah, he just does what he wants.
and there are some really funny.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed
There's an
this
incident at a Christian disco that's worth listening to. It's worth listening to it for that alone.
one. Yeah, the Christian Disco episode is really good. So if you want to hear about Mad Mikey, the Lotto Lout, you can do that on the Patreon right now. If you're not already a member, patreon.com/Upshot Towers, just £3 a month. And yeah, you can listen to that and loads of other specials, extra episode every week. So join us there right now if you haven't already. Otherwise, we will see you on Tuesday where we are talking about Rio Ferdinand. Yeah, that's a goodie. Really
That's a
good.
one.
But for now, thanks a lot for listening. Thank you, Uncle Twunk.
Thank you. Enjoy the cricket.
Thank you,
Twink and Otter.
Zach. You Twink.
Thank you. Yeah.
Zachary Sweeney.
Twink.
We'll
Yeah.
tighten that up.
Yeah.
Twinkie Lynch.
Twinkie
Yeah.
Lynch. Zachary Twinkie Lynch.
Yeah.
Like it.
Wouldn't say we've nailed that. All right. Thanks a lot for listening.